I would like to say that it's not like me to get this long-winded about a subject, but I'm not going to deny that. I'd rather be thorough than to miss something. So our last video, we'll talk about the items in checkpoint 1 and a little bit about what's expected in week 1 of the ART 1280 Photoshop software semester. So when you log into the class, the first thing you should always do is click on the Announcements tab. And for the first week in the semester, you can click through all these tabs and kind of see what they are. The Syllabus tab outlines your syllabus, and for those of you that are unaware, the syllabus is your lifeline for the course. It outlines the expectations for the course. It outlines basically everything that I've also covered in this first checkpoint. I've just done it so that you kind of get it in two places. But most importantly, a syllabus is a contract between you and your instructor. And if I tell you on the syllabus that your checkpoint exams are worth 30% of your grade, but then I calculate your grade and make the checkpoint exams 50% of your grade and that negatively affects you, you have the ability to challenge that and say, no, you said they're only worth 30% and I should have such and such a grade. So this applies to all of your classes, not just mine. So make sure you read through your syllabus in its entirety. It outlines many things: late policies, organizations, objectives for the class, how to get an A. You need a 93% or higher to get an A. Navigating the course, evaluations, closing information. This is an online class, right? So what do you do if the campus is closed with an online class versus an on-campus class? Emergency procedures, ADA statements, academic honesty. You'll see it's highlighted in yellow. I'm pretty flexible, but if you cheat, I will fail you for the entire semester, and you'll know that if you read the syllabus. So make sure you read through it in its entirety. If you have any questions when you're done, email your teacher. The benefit of Canvas is that at the bottom of your syllabus is a list of due dates. So in addition to the semester schedule that you can print and have attached, you can also print your syllabus and you can have a list of all the things that are due. The downside of this is it only shows things with due dates. And if you look at the Home tab, so I'm going to jump back over here. If you look at the Home tab for checkpoint 1, there are a bunch of things included, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 things included, but if you look at the first week in the semester, there's only 2 things that are due. In order to successfully complete these 2 things, or in week 6, these 2 things, you need to complete all of the other items that are included in the module. So I highly recommend printing that to make sure you don't miss anything. But for our class, always go to the Home tab and literally just work your way from the top to the bottom. So we're starting with checkpoint 1, click the first item in checkpoint 1, and then hit the next button after you've read everything, and we can move through the entire course. So getting started is a welcome. It explains what the class is. I'm going through the navigating the course right now, and there are 5 or 6 tabs on the left-hand side. I haven't gotten to the last 3 yet, but I will. Learning objectives always start the checkpoint. So the objectives for the first week are kind of simple. Students will log in, they will feel comfortable with the course, they will email the instructor if they have questions. You should read through all of those. And then there is a little clause about having reading assignments versus lectures versus demo videos, and I've already gone through that. But I just want to point out that there are 4 types of things you might receive, and that's a reading assignment, a formal lecture, a demo video / lecture from your actual teacher or adobe.com videos. You will have some, but not all 4 of those for every chapter. Just keep that in mind. The next item in checkpoint 1 are your required text and software. So I want you to have access to Photoshop, Bridge, InDesign, and Illustrator. They're all Adobe programs, plus Camera Raw, but that's a free download once you have Photoshop. Now, you can use any version of the software you want. If you turn a file in that's like CS4, when I'm using Creative Cloud, you're not going to get a 0 because it's a different file. But it's your responsibility to make sure that the features that we're using can be applied to that file. So sometimes you can't apply something we're learning in CS4 that is possible in Creative Cloud. And when you hit those hiccups, you're going to have to find either alternate options for the software, or you're going to have to take a ding on your points for that assignment. If you want to purchase the software, you can go to adobe.com, and there is a student discount, so you can register, and I believe that it's $19.99 a month for students. It was on sale over Christmas, but I guess not anymore. The problem with this is you have to sign a contract, and you'll have to decide what works for you. Now, there is a $10 one if you want to pay $9.99 a month, You can get Photoshop and Lightroom, I believe, and it's only $10 a month. But when we do projects that require Bridge or InDesign or Illustrator, you'll have to come to campus or find a 30-day trial or something to get those activities done. With that being said, you can access the software for free through something called SLCC All Access. And you can click on that link, but you have to agree to their terms and conditions. So you need to read through them and make sure that you're comfortable and then select OK. And what happens is it opens up a remote desktop and then you access the software through the remote desktop that's located, I'm guessing, at the Redwood campus of Salt Lake Community College. You can use All Access on any SLCC computer or campus. So if you're taking a class at the Jordan campus and you have an hour between classes, you can hop on any computer there and you can use SLCC All Access. You can use it at the Redwood campus, the South City campus, the Library campus, Miller campus, the West Valley campus, any SLCC computer campus. If you happen to be at the Salt Lake South City campus, that's where the Visual Art and Design department is located. So you can use any computer in any of our labs if it's available and the door's open. Most of the time they're closed, but if you go to room 1-180, it's on the north end hallway near McDonald's. That is dedicated open space for visual art and design students. So as long as you're enrolled in a visual art and design class, you can use the computers there and they have all the software. In addition, 1-165 is the main classroom for graphic communications, which is a specialization within the art department. And I, Jessica, will leave the door propped open anytime I'm in the room, and I try to be there as much as possible. And anytime you want to come in and use the computers in there, you're welcome to. The only time you can't is if there's a class in there and the teacher says no. So there's only like a handful of classes that ever are in there, and if I'm teaching and I'm not using the computers, I'll tell you, by all means, come in, come use the computers. If a teacher is in there and they are using the computers, you can go right across the hall to 1-180 and those computers should be available. The textbook is the Photoshop Visual Quick Start Guide. We are still, as of the spring 2017 semester, using the 2015 release of the textbook, which means you should be able to get it for free or for pretty cheap if you wanted a physical copy. They haven't come out with a new version, and everything that we're doing is still applicable to that book, so we're good to go. The book, however, is free if you would like to use an e-textbook. So I showed you when we talked about, I'm going to go back over here. When we talked about checkpoints 2 through 6, I showed you that there are reading assignments that are built in to the checkpoints. And so when you get to chapter 1 and it says read chapter 1 color management, when you right click and open it, it will take you directly to Safari Books Online. And if you're on campus, it just works and you can read the book. And if you're off campus, you'll have to log in using your My Page or my.slcc.edu username and your PIN. And then last but not least, graphic communications, or the specialization of graphic communications, is working really hard to adopt OER initiatives. And so we're trying to make it, so our game plan for OER is not that we want to use, quote, open educational resources. Our goal is to make it that once you pay your tuition and your fees, you don't have to pay for supplies in the class. So everything that you would have to pay for in Art 1280 is accessible for free if you use the free options. So you have to access the software and you can use one of the free options posted above. You need the textbook because you have to read it all. So you can get the free e-textbook unless you want a physical copy. And then during checkpoint 6, we are going to print 5 activities. And if you come on free printing days, which we'll post randomly and we'll tell you a couple weeks in advance, you can print for free as well. If you choose not to print for free, you still have to print your artwork and you have to mount it and you have to scan it. And you have to use an inkjet photo printer. So most home printers are inkjet, so that would probably work, but you'll have to buy photo quality paper. And I recommend just going to like Office Depot or Home Depot, or you can even go to, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll send out in a course announcement. There's a photo store downtown that has pretty good prices. So I'll send that out to you in a course announcement later in the semester when we get close to that. Moving on, the next item in checkpoint 1 is the schedule, and it's also a Google Drive. You can just look at it. and you can see what's due. We've kind of highlighted when things are due, and then you can figure out when you want to do them as long as you get them done by the due date. So you'll see that January 13th is blue, and if you look over here, it's checkpoint 1 is due, and it's the Getting Started in Art 1280. If we look at the green one, that's all checkpoint 2, and there are 4 due dates for that. So chapters 1 and 2 are due on the first day, or the first due date of that checkpoint, which in this semester also happens to be the last day to add a class. 2 days later, you have chapters 3 and 4 due, then you have chapters 5 and 6 due, and then the checkpoint wraps up. When we get down to longer or harder checkpoints, you'll notice that all of your chapters are due sequentially. So in this semester, I'm requiring Wednesdays and Fridays. So chapter 7 is due on Wednesday, chapter 8 is due on Friday, chapter 9 is due on Wednesday, and then chapters 10 and 11 are due on the 10th because they're less work to look through or to read through and do different things. But when we get to the end or the finishing up of that checkpoint, there are 2 skills tests and an exam, and you basically have the entire week to work on it, so you can budget how you want to tackle those tasks so that you get them all done by Friday. I would like you to print this, so you can choose File and then you can download. You can download it as a PDF or a Microsoft Word document, etc., and you can print it. If you want to, if you're at the South City campus, I will print these every semester and I will post them outside of the 1-165 classroom, and I'll just keep printing them until they stop disappearing. Moving on, there are a series of videos that you can watch about getting started in Art 1280. These are the videos that you're currently watching. So if you're watching these first before you even log into Canvas, just skip past this because these are the same exact videos. To finish up checkpoint 1, I would like an initial response from you. So I would like you to hit submit, which would be up here where it says published in the teacher view. And if you have any questions whatsoever, questions about the printing, questions about getting the software, navigating Canvas, any question that you have, you can send it through this initial response, and I will check it every day for the first 2 weeks of the semester to make sure I get back to you ASAP. I would like you, if you are comfortable using Canvas, to say that. I am comfortable, I understand what's expected of me, and I feel confident moving forward. Last but not least, I would like you to update your profile picture, and it should be a picture of yourself, not a cartoon, not a group shot. It should be zoomed in. It's really hard to recognize online students and to keep track of them, so updating with a profile picture helps me out. And you can do that by clicking on your profile and then clicking on the little circle icon. So mine's a picture right now, but yours will be like a little cartoon. If you get an error that says that your file size is too big, it's probably not too big. It's probably that you're having storage issues on Canvas, and if that's the case, you need to contact the help desk at 801-957-5555. There are 2 other things that I've posted at the bottom of checkpoint 1. They're kind of like a Photoshop heads up. So for those of you that are new to Photoshop, make sure you watch these videos. I can't play them because I think I'm going to have copyright videos with YouTube, but I'm going to click on it really fast and hit pause. If you open it, it will automatically start to play, and you can just watch it inside of the Canvas browser. If you ever have a video that's embedded in Canvas, which I've tried to embed all of them, and it's too small and you can't see it, you can always pop it out over here. But the 2 videos will see what you can create in Photoshop and talk about design efficiency or workflow efficiency to give you good practices for getting started in Photoshop. Okay, that finishes checkpoint 1. So I'm going to wrap up this video, but if you have any questions whatsoever, do not be afraid to email your teacher either through the Canvas inbox or the email address listed on the course syllabus.